The Arkansas eviction notice. What is an eviction notice? Eviction notice, or notice to quit, is a letter sent by the landlord to the tenant notifying them that they should either take or stop a certain action or vacate the rented premises. Eviction notice can be of two types. Conditional, when a tenant is given time to remedy the breach of the lease, or unconditional, when a landlord terminates the lease without any alternative options for a tenant. What should an eviction notice include? Information about the tenant and the landlord. The reason for sending the notice. The date by which the tenant should take or stop a certain action. The consequences of non-compliance. The date and way of notice delivery and the landlord's signature in the form of certificate of service attached to the notice. How to evict a tenant in Arkansas. The non-payment notice. According to Arkansas law, if the tenant fails to pay rent, the landlord should wait 5 days after the due date before sending them a written notice. Such a notice should give the tenant at least 3 days to pay or vacate the premises. However, Arkansas is the only state where being late on rent can result in criminal prosecution. If the landlord pursues a criminal eviction action, a 10-day notice to quit is required. Non-compliance notice. If the tenant does not comply with other lease terms, the landlord should send a 14-day notice to correct the issue or quit. When it comes to illegal activity, Arkansas law does not set the requirement of sending a notice to the tenant before starting the eviction process. What if the tenant fails to comply? If the tenant fails to pay rent due and associated fees or remedy the violation, the landlord can file an eviction lawsuit with an Arkansas court. The filing fee is $65 statewide. Then, the summons and complaint must be served on the tenant by the court. It can be done by the landlord or their attorney too, if they are sending the documents by mail. The tenant needs to file an answer with the court within 10 days after the complaint delivery in case of criminal eviction, or 5 days for all other cases. Failure of the tenant to appear for the hearing, or the judge's ruling in the landlord's favor, will result in the issue of a writ of possession. This document will order the tenant to leave the rented premises within 24 hours after the writ is received if they don't want to be removed forcibly.